anyways, back to the layman in general, you're in a 300 deficit. You kind of milk that for all you can. And by that, I mean the biggest problem, and I guess one of the biggest takeaways from this whole discussion could be that the people who aggressively cut way too fast will end up losing more weight off the bat, but they will end up in a state of adaptation faster, whereby you are basically going to not only expend less calories at rest via the depression of like non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is like fidgets and moving with just like your everyday activities. You will actually start to subconsciously do that less. In addition, you are pushing yourself to a state of nutrient deprivation much sooner than was necessary to achieve a fat loss outcome. So rather than trying to lose, 6 pounds in 2 weeks, why don't I go with, like 1 to 2 pounds at most and actually milk what I can out of that little tiny calorie increment before I decide, okay, do I need to then add some more cardio to my regimen, or do I want to decrease food by another 100 calories, or do I want to add, metabolic enhancing pharmacology? You can actually make the call at that point because you've exhausted the actual increment and you're not unnecessarily depressing hormone production and also putting yourself into a hole of what is essentially a malnourished state. Because if you push too hard and you go from, let's just say you're eating 2,800 calories a day and you instantly drop to 1,800, you will lose a ton of weight off the rip, and you'll think, oh, this is great. And then very soon you will get to a point where it's like, holy hell, I am starving. This is not sustainable. What am I doing? What do I do next? I plateaued now, and where do I go from here? It becomes easy to dig yourself into a hole if you're not careful about this like titration down, essentially. So I typically recommend trying to milk what you can until weight loss has averaged out at neutral for at minimum a few days, but typically a week. And then from there, because as a natural, you are very susceptible to major aberrations in hormone suppression if you are going to deprive the hell out of nutrients. And especially if you're doing huge amounts of cardio concurrently because you think that's what you need to be doing. Also, don't put yourself in a hole on the energy expenditure side.